What would you do if someone called you fat? I teach middle school, I can take it. I taught middle school ages ago. You develop a thick skin quickly. My response to this would be shrug, I guess. I don't care if someone thinks I'm fat, and if they're rude, I also don't care to waste my breath on them. You definitely have to be able to dish it out too as a middle school teacher. My students know I will absolutely roast them back, within reason. If my high school students rag on me, I always tell them that I would send them home crying if only they were clever enough to get a rise out of me. Haha, the honesty of kids. I was teaching volleyball for a couple of days at a school, and I said to the class who remembers me from last year. One of the girls pipes up, I do, but you're fat now. Sadly, I had to agree with her. When I had short hair, I'm a woman, there was this 8-year-old was a little confused at my gender. You kind of look like a boy, but when you smile, you're like a girl. I wasn't that androgynous actually. I think the short hair threw him off. Well, that's one way to say you have a pretty smile. Don't think I'll be using it at the bar anytime soon. Well, aren't you rude and unpleasant? My go-to. This reminds me of the older white woman who asked my name, and it's a Japanese one, and she is just taken aback and said, "Oh, no, I do not like that," and I literally just laughed in her face uncontrollably. It was just so ridiculous, like what do you even do with that? Laughing in their face uncontrollably is a great response. You could also lower your voice, lean in like you're about to tell them something embarrassing like they just stepped in dog poo or something and say, "Oh, are you aware you said that out loud?" Don't worry, I don't think anyone else heard you. I got this from a few people when I was pregnant, even though I was all baby, very close to my pre-baby weight within a week of giving birth. The most effective response was, "What is wrong with you?" with a disgusted face, then walk away. Don't give them time to backtrack. Honestly, the best thing I've found when somebody says something rude. Literally anything. Insults you in any way is to just stare at them and don't say a word. Very effective. No response from you and they might realize they were being an asshole. Or ask them to explain what they mean. I also love what you did, I am gonna try that. This is still better than asking a fat person if they're pregnant. As Dave Barry said, unless you see the baby emerging from the woman, you should not ask if she's pregnant. I was standing awkwardly in a queue in an old workplace. I was wearing a maxi dress. Some woman who I didn't know, I think I'd met her maybe twice before, asked me if I was pregnant. I stood up straight, eliminating any random bulge, looked at her and said, "No, I just really like eating," smiled and walked off. She was mortified. Cheeky beach. Never saw her again. At least when that happens to me, I have a quick comeback with nope. Just fat. But now they've taken away my quick response and called me fat, which is in fact true. And honestly, I don't know what I'd say except hope that the tears don't start leaking down my face. I weigh 115 pounds but carry it skinny fat style. I have been asked by way too many older people when I was due. I just tell them I'm not and watch the light die from their eyes. Recently I had a co-worker call me fat for 2 weeks. She kept pointing out my weight gain and how I could join her on a treadmill. At first I tried to be polite and said, "I think I'm really attractive, I'm a hijabi, you don't actually know what I look like," etc. She didn't get the hint. I pulled her over and told her I think it's incredibly rude and unprofessional that she has continued to point out my weight in front of others. She claimed she was worried about my health. I pointed out she's not a doctor and she's not my physiotherapist, so she has no clue about my health. I have a disability and I'm on medications which have side effects of weight gain. She apologized later. "I'm sorry you had to endure such rude behavior." "I'm okay. My doctor says I'm not fat, so ha. I win." Honestly, part of me would be sort of grateful. I mean, I know they probably mean it as an insult. I get that. And nobody likes being insulted. But at the same time, I went through a phase in life where I was so poor that a full meal was hard to come by. You don't necessarily get that every day. Yes, things are a lot better now. Infinitely better. But I remember how things used to be. I could probably stand to lose a few pounds, it's true. But number one, I'm not even close to obese, and number two, there was a time when I was too skinny for lack of nourishment. Getting to where I am now is something I'll always be proud of, in a way. Well, people always say I should get in shape. But you know, round is a shape. Lose more weight. I still think I have a solid 15 pounds I could use. Yeah, ironically, being called fat by someone is the turning point that led me to get in shape. I didn't realize I was fat. I guess I just always posed in the mirror in a flattering way that wasn't how people actually saw me, and how I saw myself in photos, but denied that's how I looked, and one day a friend of a friend made a fat joke at my expense, and it clicked. I started meal preps, joined a gym, etc., and got in shape. I'm only giving my own experience, not supporting fat shaming. Just thought my anecdote was on topic. My great-great-aunt told me I got fat at my grandfather's funeral. I actually looked great and was very fit, but looking like you're starving was the only acceptable way to look. I told the old hag that she was fat too. Everyone yelled at me. She laughed. I think she appreciated that I gave it back to her, or was at least slightly amused. My grandmother used to also tell me I was fat, the great-great-aunt's niece. Did I get that right? I used to just tell her I like my fat bum. Agree with them. If they were intentionally trying to be an insulting asshole about it, I'd tell them, hey man, I am what I am. Years of guzzling beer and slacking off have taken their toll. We can't all be fitness junkies. Thing is, I was never fat growing up. I was athletic and thin. Then age happened. Lack of exercise happened. A lifetime of fast food, pizza, and beer happened. I'm not self-conscious about it, and I could easily laugh it off. I think if you are overweight as a kid and have to endure the mean comments of other kids throughout your teenage years, you are likely going to be a lot more sensitive to it. Bulking. This one is a little tough and can backfire very easily. Ask them if they just called you their overt trait or characteristic in an indignant voice, and then be okay with it when you find out that they called you fat. Example. Mean person, you're fat. Me, did you just call me Irish? Mean person, no. I called you fat. Me, oh. That's all right then. Be confused because I weigh about 8 stone something, 115 pounds for Americans. Wonder who they're comparing me to. Kate Moss? All that aside though, my ex did call me fat and lazy when I'd put on weight cause of medication. I got incredibly upset and ended up breaking up with him. He eventually apologized, but TBH, it has stuck and made me very self-conscious of weight gain or my illness making me unattractive. My daughter was mad that I made her get up by 1 p.m. to go to the dentist, and told me I looked ugly today. I just laughed because I was actually feeling myself a tiny bit after having done my hair and makeup for the first time in a while and putting together a cute outfit. I considered it a compliment because if I actually looked bad, I know she wouldn't have said anything. Deep down, most people are just a 10-year-old mad about the dentist. It's not about you. I am fat. It's not body shaming, it's reality, and it's my fault for being overweight. There are some real, negative consequences to my health if I stay fat/overweight, especially as I get older. You should not be offended when someone mentions reality. Sooner or later the consequences of being overweight will catch up to you, and then you will be suffering. Please like and subscribe for more daily content.